Hello, a warm welcome as always to the Vanarama National League highlight show. Kevin Davis and Aaron McLean alongside me. Seems barely 5 minutes since the last season finished, and yet here we are going again on an opening weekend that's produced 34 goals and 7 red cards, all of them for away players. Plenty to get our teeth into, so let's start with our first roundup, which features some of the promotion hopefuls, and Richard Newman has the details.
Oldham have that unwanted statistic of being the first Premier League club to be relegated from the Football League. Their first match outside of it in 115 years almost got off to the worst start. On-loan Stoke striker Will Goodwin volleying against the bar after 4 minutes. Oldham started 8 of their 11 summer signings and they looked like a side struggling to gel. Dan Gardner was one of them, but he endured a nightmare return for a second spell. A challenge on Dean Moxey producing a second yellow card. No serious damage done result-wise though, and Oldham held on for a point. Wrexham will be hoping a second full season under the Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney ownership yields results after falling in the playoff semi-finals. But it was Eastleigh who struggled near the bottom last season who took the lead. Teenager George Langston converting from close range on his debut. Wrexham piled on the pressure, and after the break the hosts continued to knock on the door, and they finally broke it down in some style. Elliot Lee, who signed from Championship side Luton, marking a fine debut off the bench. Phil Parkinson's side pushed for a winner, and they got it. Lee making himself an instant fan favourite with a quick turn and shot to secure a 2-1 home victory. Just 62 days after suffering the agony of missing out in the playoff final to Grimsby, Solihull Moors were back at it again at Aldershot. And Joe Sabara picked up from where he left off. After 18 goals last season, he was straight off the mark, swinging a boot at a loose ball from cross. Aldershot, who finished a place above the relegation zone last season, hit back. Ini Effiong on his debut after joining from Woking, rising highest to head past Louis Holden. Parity lasted just 4 minutes. Solihull back in front through Callum Howe, matching Effiong's effort by heading it across from last season's top scorer, Andrew Dallas. 2-1 it was at half-time, and it took minutes to increase their lead after the break. Dallas this time was the man opening his account, heading past Luca Ashby-Hammond after a Sabara cross. But the best goal of the lot was saved for Ben Coker on his debut 2 days after signing, making the most of a free kick on the edge of the area. 4-1 to Solihull Moors, and it could be another challenging season for Aldershot. A minute of applause was held for Barnet fans Mel Steen and Robin Goldman before the match with Halifax, who were once again going for promotion. Barnet finished 18th last season, but they made the better start, and after having a goal ruled out for offside, they were ahead through Efron Mason-Clark, who lifted the ball brilliantly over Sam Johnson. Halifax weren't having the best visit to the Hive, and their task was made tougher midway through the second half, when Jamie Stott, on his debut after signing from Stockport, was sent off for a second booking for putting down Nicky Kambamba. Barnet took advantage, and so too did Kambamba, side-footing the ball past Johnson to double their lead. That's the way it stayed. A tough start for new Halifax boss Chris Millington.
Excellent start for Dean Brennan's Barnet. Work to do clearly for the new boss at Halifax. So we have to start with everybody's pick for red-hot favourites, and thus with that comes so much expectation. And Wrexham finding a way through sub Elliot Lee today, Kev.
Yeah, it just shows you what kind of squad they've got. You know, being able to attract players from the EFL, the Championship. It shows you the funds that they've got. They're going to be red-hot favourites, but I think they'll be challenged. I don't think it's going to be easy for them, but they found a way of winning today, and that's crucial for them, just to, you know, get that first one under the belt, give the confidence to the team, the fans, and everyone involved.
Well, we said, didn't we, if it's not Mullin, it's Palmer. Turns out if it's neither of those two, it's Elliot Lee.
Well, that's the luxury that they've got. You know, they're able to bring that kind of quality in off the bench. You know, Elliot he's been on loan the last couple of seasons, you know, at Oxford and at Charlton. Hasn't really had his chance at Luton, but now he's gone down to Wrexham, and you know he'll be hoping that he can fire the goals that get them promotion.
Now, when we kind of pick through the possible promotion contenders, you could and some do overlook Solihull again, which is a mistake on last season and today's evidence.
It's definitely a mistake. You know, I think last season they proved what a good side they are. You know, really good manager, really good, exciting young players, and they've got goal scorers. You know, you look at Sabara, you look at Dallas, they've brought Kelly in, Coker now has come and, you know, scores on his debut. They're a really, really well-drilled outfit, and they've got some good experience in there with Callum Howe and a couple of others as well. So they're going to be right up there. If they can put together some performances like they did last season, they're going to be right up there challenging.
Coker already signed from, I think Stevenage released him, signed a couple of days ago. Dream start.
Again, just quality, isn't it? You know, technical players, Aaron's saying there, they've got quality, they've got goals throughout the team from different areas. They look solid at the back, and I fancy them actually. I think they're going to run Wrexham close.
Interesting. On we go to, as you'll see in a moment, an action-packed meeting between newcomers Dorking Wanderers and one of the big guns in Chesterfield. But we start the next round-up with one of the oldest clubs, of course, in Notts County, who performed impressively at home on the opening day. Lewis Mason picks up the story.
Notts County raided Gateshead for forward pair Macaulay Langstaff and Kedwin Scott in the summer, hoping they could make an immediate impact at Meadow Lane. Langstaff duly obliged, slotting home the opener after slick build-up play. Langstaff hit 32 in all competitions last season, and he showed his new club he has no intentions of easing up, working an opening before dispatching into the far corner to double County's lead. County scored in every league match at Meadow Lane last season, and they were enjoying their home comforts on the opening day. Joel Taylor adding the gloss, unleashing a stunning strike into the top corner. Dorking are new arrivals in the National League after their incredible rise through the lower levels, but Armando Dobra wasn't giving them a warm welcome on his Chesterfield debut, leaving them disorientated before feeding a Kwasi Asante, who kept his calm to open the scoring. Speaking of making friends, new Chesterfield keeper Lucas Kovalan isn't going about it in the right way after being sent off on his debut. He was shown red twice for Port Vale last season and was punished once more for an off-the-ball incident. Beginning his second spell with Chesterfield, midfielder Ollie Banks took the gloves, with the club having no other keeper on their books. Chesterfield fans cheered his first save and were soon on their feet again, with Dobra showing his class once more to switch from provider to scorer to double their lead. Banks kept a clean sheet for nearly 40 minutes, but perhaps was getting a little too comfortable with his new role when he came to collect a cross from Bobby Joe Taylor, but made a mess of it, and James McShane tucked in Dorking's first National League goal. Luke Moore already had a place in Dorking history after a vital equaliser in their playoff final success, and he was at it again, sending the home crowd wild, turning the ball into the top corner. After throwing away a 2-0 lead, Chesterfield's disappointment was added to when Brandon Horton shown a second yellow in stoppage time. Gateshead may have lost star strikers Langstaff and Scott to Notts County following their promotion campaign, but it took just 6 minutes of their National League return to realise they might be fine without them. Dan Ward rounded the Dagenham keeper before squaring for Paul Blackett to slide in the first goal of the new season. The alarm went off early for Gateshead fans ahead of a 570-mile round trip, and they'd be forgiven for thinking they were still dreaming as Adam Campbell took advantage of poor defending and kept his cool to put his side 2-0 ahead. Paul McCallum was Dagenham's top scorer last season, and he would have been confident his account was about to be opened for the new campaign when a trip in the box gave the hosts a way back into the game. But confidence turned into complacency, and McCallum's weak effort was saved by James Montgomery. It wasn't long before McCallum had a chance to make amends. Captain Matt Robinson's dangerous cross from the left was met with a bullet header and an apparent apology to the fans. The drama wasn't done, but Dagenham kept their fans on edge until injury time when Junior Marias danced through the Gateshead defence before firing home to grab a draw and break Gateshead hearts. Southend started the season with an unwanted record. They'd lost their opening home league match in each of the last 4 seasons. It was in danger of being extended when Boreham Wood's summer signing Dion Kelly-Evans delivered a low cross for fellow new boy Danny Newton to score. With just under 20 minutes left, Southend were given a lifeline, with Boreham reduced to 10 men. Debutant Liam Love threw an arm towards Ollie Kensdale and was given his marching orders. Boreham were soon down to 9 players when Kelly Evans was sent off in the closing stages for a high tackle, but Southend couldn't take advantage, and their horrible history of early season Roots Hall rustiness continues.
Well, not a great finish in terms of personnel on the pitch for Luke Garrard and Boreham Wood, but an excellent win. Kevin Mayer will be frustrated, I'm sure. But in terms of good starts, I think you wouldn't have to look too far, really, would you? I mean, I think Macaulay Langstaff will come to in a moment. Excellent couple of goals for him on his debut, but for Dagenham, they nearly blew it, didn't they? Thanks to Junior Marais.
Yeah, again, it's they've come back, and sometimes coming back from losing positions to get something out of the game just gives you a little bit of a boost as well. It's not always about winning games, but just how you perform and dig something out sometimes. And they've hung in there and they've managed to scrape something out of the game, haven't they? So it's disappointing for the opposition, but that's the way it goes. You've got to see it out, and you move on to the next game.
Yeah, off the bench again for Junior Marais, 18-8 for him. But for Langstaff, dream debut for Notts County, having come down from Gateshead for...
Dream debut. That's exactly what you want as a striker. You want to hit the ground running, get your eye in, and get some goals. And I think for him, playing with Rodriguez is going to be a dream. Rodriguez is probably the most technical player in this division. Longstaff just looks like, he looks like an out-and-out goal scorer. In the box, he comes alive, he's bright here, gets his yard, gets his shot in. Bottom corner.
Just comes alive, doesn't he, in the box? I think that as a front three could be one of the best front threes in the league. They're going to cause a lot of teams problems.
2 strikers enjoying the work of another striker. It's like a little club, isn't it? Honestly. Not that we wouldn't all like to belong. OK, next stop is here, Glanford Park, of course, for Scunthorpe United, having dropped down from League 2, taking on Yeovil, now led, of course, by our old mate Chris Hargreaves. Could the Glovers upset the Iron? We'll see the highlights of that one when we come back. Welcome back. Our next stop is right here in Lincolnshire. Scunthorpe United dropping down from League 2 for the first time in more than half a century. Hadn't won a league game since February. They were taking on a Yeovil side now under the management of our former colleague, Chris Hargreaves. We'll wish him well as we pick up the highlights of this one with Adam Virgo and Adam Summerson.
O'Malley. Feeney. That's a useful ball. Beast in-house players arriving in the box and decided to go alone and forced a good save from Smith. Cleverly here to Ogle. His early cross into the box was dangerous. Daniel held up by Wakefield. O'Malley. It's a good cross! Fantastic goal! What a header that was! It's Andrew Boyce on his debut for the Iron, who puts them in front here against Yeovil. Had an earlier chance from a set piece that he put just wide. No mistake with that one.
Yeah, fair play to him. So I thought the first one he maybe should have taken the chance, and now he's been given a second opportunity, and he's taking it really, really well.
Beastie. Butterfield has found acres of space here, movement from Nuttall to his right. Daniel's up in support as well. It's opened up for the shot here! And he took the chance. Well, they back right off. And Butterfield in the end just thought, why not?
He picks it up on the halfway line, and all of a sudden, look at the time and space that he's got there. I mean, Hunt has to go out a lot quicker. I know Nuttall makes the run that makes him run away from the space, but there comes a time and a space where you have to go and close it down. And if you're not going to go and close it down, Adam, that's what happens.
Linton. He's played a good ball there. Records has got one back. Just what they needed. Reduces the deficit to 1. He's took that really well. Jamie Record into the bottom corner, and there's some hope here for Yeovil.
Oh, just a bit of belief now, and you have to say game on.
Feeney with Williams at his back. It's one back by Worthington, and Fisher's in there!
Just fizzes across the 6-yard box.
the edge of the box here for the Glovers. Needs a good delivery. It was a good delivery, and it's a fine save down at his near post.
It's a quality ball in there. It's Hunt there that just gets something on it. It's a decent save, it's a decent attempt as well.
Keith, congratulations today. A supporter just said that's the best performance they've seen here in 2 years. What did you make of it?
I was really pleased. I think it was an indication of our intentions, the way that we want to play. The players have been absolutely magnificent since day one of pre-season. They bought into everything that we're trying to do in and out of possession. I thought we were excellent, especially first half, and to go 2-0 up. But we give them a way in, I suppose. But part of 90 minutes is survival, and we survived, probably a little bit of undue pressure that we didn't really deserve.
Chris, defeat today, but what do you think of the performance?
Thought first half we maybe sat off a little bit too deep. Protected well, stopped them from having too many chances, but probably didn't believe it enough and be on the front foot. Thought second half was excellent. Made a couple of changes, changed the shape twice just to try and affect them, and I thought it worked. Just needed a bit more belief in that final third. Crosses fizzed across, corners, chances. I just expected to get that second goal, which the lads would have deserved, because I've got to be honest, he gave me everything.
Both managers, interestingly, sounding a little hoarse. The vocal cords have to adapt, I'm sure, to life in the dugout. Kev, about the right result, wasn't it? I think Scunthorpe were better for most of that game, probably an hour or so.
Yeah, I think Yeovil came out second half really on the front foot, like you said, Chris. They admitted themselves they stood off them too much in that first half, and they give it a go in that second half. Subs came on and did really well, made a difference, and it looked like they could maybe nick something from the game. But I think for Scunthorpe, it was about the win. It's about the performance, not so much the win. Getting the win, they've not had any here for a long time, have they? So it's just give the whole club a big lift. Yeah,
Boyce with the first and then Butterfield second. That kind of set them up for the 3 points. They dominated in that period of the game.
Yeah, they got the goal at the right time, when with Boyce's header. They were the team that was on top. They were looking like they were going to take the lead, and Boyce, he does what he does and gets his head on it. Really good finish into the corner. But the Butterfield one, yes, okay, it's not great defending, but I'm looking at Butterfield and I'm saying, right, you've got the space there. Are you gonna go and take the space, and he does,
Yeah, here it is. And yeah, I think, Kev, you made the point about the strikers creating the space for him with their runs, but nobody really wants to go and affect him.
No, you see Staunton struggling to get back, and then just a little crossover from the strikers. It just gives those defenders something to think about. Do I go with a runner? And then they back off, and I think Vergs was saying in commentary, there comes a point where I think Hunt has to step forward and go and engage, and he drops off, and it's not enough pressure on the ball there. These are the things that Chris Hargreaves will be working on the pitch for them next week. Last sessions on possession sessions, getting tight, stopping crosses, and allowing themselves an opportunity to go and get some points from the game. So.
Butterfield may be Scunthorpe's best player. Jamie Record, arguably Yeovil's most effective, certainly experienced player with skill.
Yeah, he is. He was quite consistent today, and with the goal, he takes it really well. He adjusts his feet magnificently, little touch with the left foot, and then just caresses it into the corner. He doesn't try and smash the lever off the ball, just passes it into that bottom corner, and then that gives Yeovil a bit of belief, and they go on and could nearly snatch something at the end of the game.
Something to chew on the long coach journey back to the southwest. On we go to our final roundup. Jake Watson, the man behind the mic, and we start with an impressive opening day from newly promoted York City.
Woking love an opening day. They've won each of their last 5, but they got off to the worst possible start today as Maz Kuyar nipped in to give York the lead. Kuyar scored the goal that sealed York promotion back to the National League, so it was fitting he was the man to score their first this afternoon. There were 16 new signings at York this summer. It was the long-serving Michael Duckworth who doubled York's lead from this perfectly executed set-piece routine. Replacing the goals of Josh Umera, who joined Hartlepool, was a big job for Wealdstone in the summer. Olufella Olamola was the man tasked with scoring those goals. He got off to the perfect start, giving the Stones the lead after 16 minutes on his debut. But Bromley weren't behind for long. Omar Sawumni with the towering header from the corner. Michael Cheek is one of the most prolific scorers at this level. He netted 17 times last season in the National League, and he got off the mark for the season with this header as Bromley went in front on the stroke of half-time. In the 68th minute, Charles Cook showed a little too much eagerness, the referee blowing his whistle and awarding the spot kick. Reece Brown with responsibility from the spot, and he found the bottom corner, bringing it all square again. It was a game of plenty of goals and some fine headers. The Wealdstone captain Jack Cook, the latest to head home, getting on the end of a Max Kretschmer delivery. This was the first ever meeting between the two sides as Maidstone returned to the National League, and just 7 minutes were on the clock when they were in front. Liam Brockbank credited with the own goal. Altrincham are looking to push on in the National League this season after making the decision to go full-time, so would have been keen for a good start today. Chris Conn-Clark putting the finishing touch to a well-worked move on the stroke of half-time. There's very little between these two sides, however Maidstone's resolve was about to be tested as they were to play the final 30 minutes with 10 men. Paddy Gandor showing a second yellow for this foul, but the visitors did hold on to take a point.
Yeah, points apiece in that one, but a good win, as we said, for York on opening day. Always nice to start well, particularly for a promoted team. John Askey's side.
Yeah, fantastic result for them. I think, bringing 16 players into a team that's being promoted is a bit of a surprise, but they've had good signings. And I think I mentioned at half-time before the show, they could be one of those surprise packages that could maybe challenge for a playoff space. Why not?
Yeah, worth picking out the goals. Obviously, they've moved from Bootham Crescent now. In fact, you and I, Kev, were there when they went down, but they're back and with a bit of a bang-maker.
Yeah, and they look bright. They take the goals really well, but they're on the front foot. They're looking to go and attack the defenders, and that one there, really good finish. Comes out to him, just puts his foot through it into the bottom corner. 2-0 win.
It is obviously only the opening weekend, but for what it's worth, let's have a little look at the Vanarama National League table from top to bottom. Obviously, Solihull with their excellent win at Aldershot to take top spot, but only just because Notts County were also handsome winners on the opening day. Barnet also with maximum points. Indeed, there's a little clutch of clubs, as you can see, who all prospered. First time out, including Scunthorpe here at Glanford Park. And work to do for those a little further down, including the likes of Maidenhead, Aldershot, Woking and Halifax. The bottom four, although clearly that means very little with just the one game played. Although, now that the season is underway, the games come thick and fast, including our live offerings in a week's time. We're at Boundary Park, Oldham against Dorking, so relegated versus promoted. That's next Saturday on One and Ultimate. Then in the midweek, Solihull Moors at home to promoted York. That's, as you can see, Wednesday the 17th, 7 p.m. on One and Ultimate for that. And there's more on the 20th with Notts County and Chesterfield meeting. So look forward to that. Looking forward to the season?
Yeah, I think so. If this weekend's anything to go by, I think there'll be plenty of work on the defences, plenty of goals flying in this weekend, which is one to see, so looking forward to it.
Got all your outfits lined up for the next few weeks?
Plenty of outfits, different jackets, trousers. I've got the full shebang this year.
His iron must be the hardest working thing I've ever known. OK, thank you as always to Kev and Aaron. Nice to have you, and indeed you, back along for the ride. Should be quite the season. See you next time.